happen. So KD7QKU standing by.
Thanks, Ron, and good evening, Dick. Yeah, I won't be doing video tonight. Tonight's not my night before the computer, but I'm here in case anything happens. I've got nothing on the 1.2 downlink, and I've got no streaming either. Everything going if no one else is going to show up. M7QO. K7ATS. Can you hear me, Ron? Out there. Can you hear me, Ron? I don't know if you're calling Ron or myself. This is WW7ATS. You're coming through loud and clear. Covington, Jim. Well, we didn't hear the first part. We heard something about if no one's going to show up. So it sounds like you're about ready to bail. Jim is here now. He just checked on M7QO. WW7ATS, is it just the three of us right now? Here, 2. 4. Okay, I see it's 5 after 8 with 4 of us here. My apologies, I guess I got started a little late here. I had a minor technical problem I was working with. Do you want to go ahead with an end tonight? I don't know, it's Richard, it's Jim and Covington, and who is the fourth? You're the fourth. So if you want, I will go ahead and start, and maybe we could just go for maybe half an hour till 8:30. My name is James, WW7N, Whiskey Uniform 7 November. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. The WW7ATS is a group of amateur radio operators, and we like amateur fast scan television, and we exercise at 8 p.m. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Saturday. That's Pacific Coast time, the western coast of the United States. If you want to join us, either to check in or check out, that's great, or if you want to join our conversation, that's great too. Either way, if you would just, for this 1 hour, move your PL tone to 103.5 if you're coming in on a 2-meter repeater. That way our echo link users can hear you. Now, that's not the normal tone for the 146.080, but again, that 103.5 is just so the echo link users can hear us tonight. Yes, we have Richard, we have Ron, Richard K7ITX, Ron KD7QKU, Bob K9PQ said he would be joining us a little later. There is myself, WW7N, I'll be net control tonight. Is there anyone else that would like to either check in and check out or join our net for the roundtable conversation? If so, come now. Let's kick it off at the top. Richard, thank you so much for sharing your resources with us tonight. Go ahead and take it away.
Well, good evening, everybody. I did talk to Wade a little bit earlier. He said he would turn on YouTube, but then I don't know what happens when you turn on YouTube if the repeater isn't turned on, or it doesn't seem like it is. Or I can't tell because I don't have 1.2 gig reception. I'm looking at YouTube, so I'm in the dark. But I can see people. I can see Ron, and I saw James a second ago, and I see myself, and I also see my indoor sensor for my thermometer. It looks like indoor humidity, and then also just the barometric pressure. It's a new little toy that my daughter gave me for Father's Day, and but I won't show it off tonight unless, oh, there we are. Well, maybe I will. The next round, I'll play around with my little gadget for you guys and show it as a. So hey, James, thank you very much. K7ATS, back to net control. K7ATS, this is James, WW7N. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I'm interested in your gadget. Anything that has words like comfort on it, I think is worthy of discussion. So let's go on next to Ron, KD7QKU. Take it away, Ron.
Okay. Thank you very much, James, W7N, and this is Ron, KD7QKU over in Tacoma. And thanks, James, for running the net tonight. Even if you were a little bit late, that's fine. We had Jim N7QO on with us for a minute, but I don't know. He was radio only, so maybe he's still out there. What's going on? Well, let's see. Yesterday I drove out to my son Mike's place. He's out on the Key Peninsula. I hadn't been out there for about 6 months. And so I decided I needed to pay him a visit and see what was going on. Well, I went out there and everything looks just about the same. He'd had the motor out of his boat. He has an inboard 22-foot long boat, and it's got I don't know, I think it's a Chrysler product V6 engine in it, and it was tired, so he'd taken it out, and he'd taken it to somebody in Tacoma, and they rebuilt it. Not a major rebuild, sort of a minor rebuild, but hopefully it'll be good for a while. And he doesn't have it all hooked up, so it's not running yet, and it's sitting in his shop. He had built a new ladder. It's a pretty big boat, and it's deep. Lots of freeboard on it. So he had built a ladder on the inside of the boat so that you could climb up and, get out on the dock. But it was on a trailer, and so my goodness, it must be 10 feet up off the ground. And so he had this ladder, so I climbed up this ladder shakily. My goodness, I'm in such bad shape. I climbed up there on the ladder, and I'm trying to twist and turn and get over the rail and get into the boat. It was ridiculous. So anyway, I came home today, went for a walk. I set the ladder up in the backyard, my ladder. I have about a 10-foot orchard ladder, and I climbed up and down it 6 times this morning. I guess I got to start doing that. I need to keep my legs open. I just sit on my butt, and watch TV and don't do much. So anyway, that's about it over here. Oh, I did see 86 degrees on the thermometer this afternoon. So back to that, KD7QKU.
On KD7QKU, this is James WW7N, and I see Bob Helling, Bob K9PQ has just joined us. So Bob, why don't you go ahead, if you're with us, go ahead and take it away.
What's my signal tonight?
Very readable. You just have to remember to push the button and give the receiver time to think about it on Cougar.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. I do forget that a lot. And I don't have the video set up yet. I was sort of in the process, nearly there, but I'll wait till the next turn to add video. Warm day today. My big news today is after an embarrassing number of years without a dishwasher, I bought one today. So I'm going to be back dishwasher enabled again, and I'll get a lot of counter space back. So I'll send it back to the net for right now, and this is K9PQ, and I'll have video next time.
Oh, K9PQ, this is Net Control WW7N for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. The three of us were talking earlier, Bob, if it's just the four of us, we were thinking of running an abbreviated net tonight. Do you have a feeling one way or another about that? We were thinking maybe 8:30, I don't know, 8:40? What do you think? probably terminate the net tonight, maybe a little bit early. But if anybody has other thoughts about that, please let me know. Also, I'm going to call for any visitors, anybody who'd like to check in and check out, or anybody who'd like to join our conversation for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. We welcome all visitors, either coming in via the internet or coming in on 2 meters. If so, come now. I got a very broken transmission with, but I didn't catch anything else. Try again, please. Cardiac, keep on hold. I got the first station, which I still was not able to catch, and then I think someone said something about Bothell in there maybe. Second station with the loud station Bothell. Try again. That's Gary, HYB, good checking in. Gary, are you checking in for the net tonight or just to say hello? Radio only tonight. I turned my computer off and I want to turn back on again. So, back to you, James. W7NK7HYB. I think, Gary, welcome, HYB, and there was another station before you, Gary. It was broken. I couldn't quite get it. If you want to try again, please come now. N7QO. Hey, Jim. QO, 7QO, this is WW7N. Go ahead. Thank you, I missed that. N7QO. Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm audio only tonight. It's not my night for the computer. Nice day. Probably everyone's out having fun or else working their butt off around the house. I did some of both today. Let's see. Ron, man, careful on the ladders. With artificial joints in the legs, I don't know. I kind of need to work up to that. I'm not as steady on ladders as I used to be either, but fortunately I don't have any stairs to climb around the house, so I don't really realize that I'm not doing well on steps until I actually start to go up a ladder, which I did this past week several times. I had to replace a couple outside light bulbs for the security system, but let's see, I've got 82 at the house now, 76 here in the shack, and an absolutely beautiful day. WU7N and 7QO. Thank you very much. Well, so far for the net tonight, we've got Richard, Ron, Bob, Gary, and then Jim in Covington, and myself, WU7N. My name is James. I want to give that visitor with a very weak signal one more chance. Was there someone else trying to check in and say hi? Okay, no station heard. Well, you're right. It was a beautiful day today. I got out and started cleaning out a couple boxes that probably should have been cleaned out ages ago. Good news is nothing rose up out of the boxes to challenge me. No rodents, no wasps, anything like that. I guess the big news right now is we've got a big solar storm coming in, so the question is, will we be seeing northern lights in northern Washington? So I don't know if that's going to happen, but apparently peak is supposed to be sometime the 21st, but I wasn't clear on the notice I saw whether that was start of day here on the West Coast or end of day. So anyway, that'll be interesting to see what the Mr. Sun does there to the HF as well as the atmosphere. So other than that, let's whip around to the top. Richard, K7ITX, tell us about the new sensor. Okay, well, first of all, let's make it so it's big on YouTube anyway, if I can figure out how to do that. Let's see here. So, oh
know what? Well, let's see how that looks when it comes across YouTube. I was thinking maybe I could just take over the screen. Well, okay, that'll work. So this means a lot to me today because we just had our air conditioning system installed outside today. It's tied into our furnace and central heating system, so we got cold air coming through the vents. And this is the first time I've been able to experience 77 degrees anywhere upstairs when it's 85 degrees outside. And so, and this is after the house had been totally hot. And so the air conditioner, they always work better if you don't let the house get hot. And so this is the house cooling down from being 85, and it's doing great, feels wonderful, and it just keeps cool and good. So anyway, let's take a look at this. This is a present from my daughter. I'll just kind of scroll by on it just a second. Let me explain, first of all, that 77 degrees, of course, is inside. That little man with the face, comfort, I guess you program that to what you think is comfortable. And I haven't really done that, so that's comfort by default. Then 37% humidity in the shack, and that, I guess I could. I don't know if I'm smart enough to do anything more than I'm doing now. I don't know, I guess not. I screwed it up now, didn't I? I don't know. I had it perfect, didn't I, before? Well, do it by hand maybe. That's the barometer, believe it or not, at the bottom down there. And I've finally figured out that everything on the right is most current. Everything on the left has already happened. So when I look at the barometer right now, it has fallen a little bit from earlier today. And then over here is the forecast. Those raindrops are not really lit up, so it's not going to rain. But it looks like it thinks there might be clouds and the sun's out. The trend. I see the trend there. The trend looks like it's just going to stay the same for a while. And of course it's 8:21. There's the outside temperature just below 80 now. Outside humidity 46%. Oh, and then look at the moon. So that's kind of interesting, and it is accurate. I don't think that should be any big surprise, because I see the moon when it's clear and it matches the phase. And of course, I think we know today is Wednesday and it's July 20th, so it's nothing too fancy. Evidently the barometer, or not barometer, humidity is rising according to that 46% with a little arrow going up. How about inside? That's staying steady. So anyway, that's the little device. WW7ATS, back to net control. WW7ATS, this is WW7N. Richard, thank you very much for the speak on that. Now, is that strictly an indoor-outdoor weather device, or is that also tied in to the air conditioning? Independent of the air conditioning, and I'll describe that a little bit more
sound on 1.2 gigahertz, just to be aware someone has a camera moving and we're getting a shot. It's fine. I just wanted you to be aware that it was being broadcast live. So next on the list, Ron, KD7QKU. Go ahead, take it away, Ron.
Okay, thank you very much, James. KD7QKU here. Well, Richard has a cute little weather station. Pretty nice. You might tell us what brand it is. I have a couple of old ones that do pretty good. Last time I looked at my temperature here, it was 75 degrees outside. You know, our temperature here goes down quite rapidly in the evening, and I think it's because we're close to the water. We're pretty close to the water, and so it goes down quite rapidly. So anyway, let's see here. I'm looking at Richard's picture and I'm losing my train of thought. I never had a thought in the first place. Well, it was nice to hear Gary and Bob and Jim and everybody. I'm glad to know everybody's okay. And let's see. I guess, I stopped taking one of my blood pressure pills, Jim, and 7QO. So now I'm not as dizzy. I was really pretty dizzy. I'm still a little bit dizzy. I put drops in my eyes. They make me slightly dizzy, and I do take a little blood pressure tablet. That makes me just a little bit dizzy. But not bad. I was getting up in the morning, and I couldn't walk down the hallway straight. It was just, I just almost had to put my hands out on the wall. But I'm much better now. I'm feeling much better, so I'm hopeful everything's going to be okay now for a while. So yeah, the ladder wasn't very tall, and I just went up, could hang on to the sides and go up a half a dozen steps and then back down, and go up a half a dozen steps and then back down, just to strengthen my legs a little bit. My son even, he noticed that my inability to kind of maneuver up there. He was saying, "Dad, you just watch too much TV. You got to get outside and walk." But he cooked me a nice hamburger, and I left here about 10:30, got out there and visited with him. He said he didn't have anything really planned for the day, other than he might mow the lawn, and he's got lots of lawn to mow. He's got 2 riding lawnmowers, but he said that was he didn't necessarily want to even do that, so we just pretty much sat and visited. We had a nice visit. Like I say, made hamburgers, and then I started home. I was ready to come home at 2 o'clock, and he wanted me to stay till 5 o'clock and watch the All-Star game. But I said, no, I want to get home. The traffic is going to be bad. No, he said, traffic will be fine. It'll be coming the other direction. So, when on the road, that goes out to Purdy from down there by Long Branch where he's at. So anyway, by the time I get out there there's a, landfill dike or whatever that goes across in a bridge, the traffic was stopped because it was backed up from that light. It must have taken me 15 minutes to get through that, but other than that, it was fine once I got on 16. Of course, I had to pay the toll on the bridge. That was $6.25. So anyway, that was my visit with my son. So back to that KD7QKU thing. Jim, N7QO, there was an experimental plane that landed on the road this morning, and when I saw that plane, I automatically thought of you. And I'm wondering if those guys had a pilot's license or whatever. I don't know. I guess they didn't get hurt too bad. They clipped some power lines, maybe. Back to that KD7QKU.
On KD7QKU, this is James WW7ATS. Yeah, I heard about that crash too. I heard there was a dog on board with the 2 people, so I certainly hope the dog was okay. No, I'm kidding. I'm glad everybody got out of there okay. I think it's a miracle if they clipped the power line. Next on the list after Ron is Bob, the K9TQ, up there in the Great North. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, that plane crashed on my street. The street I live on, it was several blocks away, but not too far, about a mile away from me, maybe. So yeah, definitely in the neighborhood, and pretty wild that it crashed there. I was surprised to hear that, but especially an experimental plane. I don't long way south to come. I'm not sure where they would have taken off from. Richard, good for you on the AC. I'm making do with 2 standalone AC units, and they get the job done. I have one for the bedroom and then one either for the living room or when I'm working in my office to keep the office chilled so I can get some work done. And that gets the job done for me, but that's nice to have the whole house AC like that. And actually the timing is good. We're expecting another mini heat wave next week with temperatures in the upper 80s, so for a few days running. And more importantly, the lows are going to be about 10 degrees higher than they are right now, so it won't cool down quite as much at night either. So I think I will have my AC going next week. I've gotten by nearly all summer without it so far. We had a hot spell, I don't know when exactly it was, early June maybe. Pretty early we had a hot spell, and I guess it was mid-June, somewhere there, and I set it up and ran it for a little bit, a day or two there. But since then it's been really very, very nice and comfortable. We have a really nice summer so far. Okay, that's about it for now. Back to net K9PQ.
K9PQ, Bob. Wow, that's a lot of excitement up there. That's where the airplane came down. So anyway, next on the list, Gary, K7HYB. Are you there? WW7ATS, Tower 7 Hotel Yankee Apollo. Let me sit there, positive. Alright, must be on the right keel. Okay. Am I coming through there, James? Just wave your hand at me. Okay. Anyway, somebody's putting a picture on the repeater. Somebody's got the weather station. Somebody will have to show me how to do that. I got my weather station working again. And I'm happy to report that unfortunately all the sensors are not working properly yet, but I'm still working on it. And it's been hot today here. It was, whatever that happened here. I lost my history for some reason or other. Anyway, right now it's 74 degrees with 59% humidity, so it's just about as nice outside as it is inside the house. Somebody's got indoor temperature of 77. That's plenty warm. A little warmer than I think I would be comfortable with. I mean, much. Just thought I'd jump in today and say hello. I had a couple of jobs I was working on, and I got them to a point where I can't do any more of them until I get some parts. So anyway, I thought I'd jump in and say hello and let you know what was going on. So that's my life, and my story. I'm sticking to it. Back to you, James. K7HYV, Gary, thank you very much for joining us. I think you're audio only tonight, I believe you said, because I did not see a video transmission on either channel of the output of the video repeater, but we hear you just fine. So next on the list, Jim, N7QO out in Covington. Take it away, Jim. N7QO, thank you, Jim. Yeah, Dick, that is a pretty cool little sensor. The device is all in pretty colors, and that's part of what makes it look really cool. Indoor sensor, I can see right there, anyway, I see it says indoor something. Indoor sensor, it looks like. Yeah, Gary, Dick was saying that that's upstairs, that's with the, he just got his air conditioning running today, and that's the coolest it's been, for some time, so he's happy with that for now. And that comfort indicator indicator he hasn't calibrated yet, so the little smiley face there isn't quite adjusted yet. But that's pretty cool, Dick. Thanks for the video on that, and also, Dick, congratulations with the air conditioning there. Yeah, I saw a video of that airplane crash. That airplane is what they call a Zenith, and actually Chandler's brother has one of those. Of course, he's east of the mountains, but so I know it wasn't him. But yeah, I think that fellow probably would have been okay if he hadn't hit the electrical wire that kind of altered his flight path. If not for that, he probably would have made a decent landing on the road. As it was, he wound up going splat. But at least the two fellows walked away from it, so that's okay. Reset. And Ron, yeah, Roger on the blood pressure medicines. I would like to change mine as well. I'm not quite at a point where I can do that just yet. It will alter my medical for a bit, but it's something I would like to do and see if it makes me feel any better. Don't know for sure if that's part of my problem, but I would bet that it is. I know that as time goes by, our bodies don't always react to the same medication the way we used to. So, good luck with that, and I don't know, something as simple as eye drops. There are definitely eye drops out there that can contribute to dizziness and that as well. My wife had some sort of eye drops that didn't get along with her at all. So, good luck with that. Back to you, Jim, N7QO. N7QO, Jim out in Covington. Well, thank you very much for that. I did not know that plane was a Zenith. I'm not only two guys walked away, the dog walked away too, understand scratch. I just remember looking at some of the pictures. I think it was Como. I can't bring him up right now, but I remember seeing the flatbed truck and the huge crane that was being used to pick up the pieces and put on the flatbed truck. And I was thinking, how expensive would that be to have a flatbed truck, at least two drivers, maybe a crane operator coming to clean your wreckage up off the road? I'm wondering if that was something the state contracted, they just send you a bill, or if the pilot contracted for that. Oh, either way, that's I just heard the cash register ringing again and again. And Richard, your indoor-outdoor thing with the moon on it, I've been managing some cameras recently, some surveillance cameras, and it also has the phase of the moon and the temperature on there. And I just think that's kind of interesting that I guess the phase of the moon is important for people who hunt. Maybe, Ron, you could comment on that when we come back around to you, because that's the only thing I can think of why you would have phase of the moon and temperature and time. I understand the time of day, but why you would have that on a surveillance type camera. So I don't know, I'm kind of curious to know why the phase of the moon is on your on that. Maybe it's just something important to know about. 30 minutes after the hour, I guess we have enough interest and participation. We can go a little longer here, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's call for visitors to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. We're listening on 146.080. As I said, we're using a PL tone for this net only of 103.5, but there's nobody on Echo Link right now, so if you want to just give us a call with regular PL tone, we would still hear you then. Any visitors, please come now. E7RYY, Dan. Yeah, RYY, good to hear you again. What's going on? I have to confess, I don't have your name or even your call sign. I think this is the video net, though. And I just found your signal with my SDR and my old disc cone on the roof. I'm sure my attenuation must be fierce, but 125 1.25 maybe. I think I looked that up and it was supposed to be on Cougar, so I should be able to hear it. Let me turn it back to you, KB7RYY. RYY Dan, my name is James, and my call is Whiskey Uniform 7 November, that's WW7N. I'm net control tonight for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, and one thing about using a lot of the dongles, they only have about 2 megahertz of bandwidth, so if you're trying to process that video information, keep in mind that signal is an analog signal. It runs about, well, technically 6 megahertz wide, but most of the information is in the first part of the sideband. So depending on what software you have, you might be able to get a black and white signal out of that. Am I talking gibberish, or am I? Well, what do you think, Dan? Gibberish. So I've got an SDR play, SDR, and I'm looking at it with SDR console. It's at the edge of the performance of everything. But you said 6 megahertz wide. I see a very narrow signal. Well, not really narrow, but you know, like 100 kilohertz signal at 1253.25. What am I looking at there? Back to you. I'm not sure. And also, Dan, because of the transmitter we're using, wait, we got multiple people talking at once. Ron, did you have something to say?
1.2 gigahertz, you know, down signal. 1253.25, that's what's coming down from Cougar, or picture.
Ron, thank you for that. Yeah, that's the transmitted for the video signal, but I believe Dan said he was looking at something about 100 kilohertz wide. It should be much, much wider than that, unless whatever you're pulling the signal in on is filtering that bandwidth down. And by the way, you do have to stomp on the mic button and really count 1 Mississippi before you start talking, because all I heard was the word gibberish when I asked you if I was making any sense. So, Dan, tell us again more about what you're seeing on the SDR, and we'll try and talk you through it. Okay, very good. This is Dan, KB7RYY, and no, I've got an SDR play, SDR, and it's hooked to an ICOM discone on the roof, and on it I can see a signal at 1253.25. It's quite narrow. I imagine I am processing it, because you said the signal for the full video, should be much wider, so maybe I'll play with the controls here and see if I can pull in anything else. But anyway, I was encouraged, and I looked in repeater book, and that looks like it's at least the center frequency. It says an offset of minus 819 megahertz. So anyway, I'm new to all this. I have no other equipment to look at any of this, so I was just interested when I saw the signal up there. Back to you, WU7N KB7RYY. Thank you very much for checking into the net tonight, and you're certainly welcome to join the roundtable conversation. We'll come back around to you after we've gone around again. I'm not sure what you're looking at. I do know a lot of the dongles have an inherent 2 megahertz bandwidth limitation, but I have heard of people managing to still pull a black and white signal out with some pretty intensive software to do that. So anyway, thank you again. Let's just knock you up on the effort, but let's wrap around to the top. Richard, K7ITX, I think you're up next. Go ahead.
Gary had a comment.
Gary, you had some comment? Go ahead.
There's some software for those dongles that'll decode the black and white picture. I do routinely on my laptop. I'm not seeing much right now because the signal is so weak out here, but I can see the sync bars every once in a while, and occasionally I'll see a little picture through the snow. Anyway, I don't know what I think he's misinterpreting that signal should be a lot wider than that.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Yeah, it should be the full 2 bandwidth of most dongles I'm familiar with, but there's always one out there you don't know about. Okay, so back to the talk. Richard, K7ITX, take it away.
Good deal. We have a guest. Sorry, it's K7RYY. I don't, my short-term memory is terrible, so I don't remember your first name, but, oh God, it's just a pleasure to have you show up tonight, and we hope we get to talk to you a lot more. So, thank you very much. We always love having people show up. Okay, so let's see. So Gary, your question was, that's me with my new weather station on Zoom and on YouTube, and I'm doing that with my iPhone. So, and you can do the same, so essentially I take the, if it was KD or KB, oh man, so yeah, it's a KD 7RYY or KB7RYY. So that's an interesting point of clarification. I just was able to see that in the chat. So anyway, Gary, so what I do, I include myself in an invitation to get in the meeting, and so with my iPhone and my laptop, I get on the video with both. And so right now my iPhone is what's transmitting the weather station information. And yeah, oh no, 76. I was reading 76 inside now, 77 out. Of course, sun's gone down and it cools down quickly. But normally, without the new AC, it would be it'd still be up in the 80s, 82, 83 right now inside the shack here. So it's the YL and I, we had a very lovely dinner tonight. The first dinner in 26 years on a hot day where we could enjoy ourselves upstairs. It's a pretty weird feeling. It's a very weird feeling. Now, we waited 26 years because this turned into a very expensive project. Now, yeah, I mean, it's all relative, I guess, with inflation and things. It wouldn't have cost that much 26 years ago. But $11,000 is a pretty penny. And so, but it finally just got to the point when you get to our age, and you don't get to take your money with you when it's time to go bye-bye. So you might as well spend it before. I don't want someone else to have it. So I mean, what the heck? I might as well use it up now. And then to answer the question about why would this station that I have, or any station with time and clocks and weather forecasting and why would any of them show the phase of the moon? Well, how about fishing? I remember fishing was always a big deal, the phase of the moon. If it was a full moon, we always thought that was a lousy time to go fishing because the moonlight would attract the salmon. The salmon felt like they could cruise around closer to the surface because they could see in the moonlight. And then so by the time you get out there to start fishing right at the crack of dawn, they'll all tuck it out and they've had their fun in light, and so they go back down and now you can't catch them anymore. So no, the phase of the moon was always a big deal for salmon fishing, at least everybody I fished with. So that would be one reason why you'd be happy to have it. About the air conditioning, it's the skinny model with the fan and venting on the side as opposed to the top. It's not a heat pump, it's strictly an air conditioner. runs the refrigerated business after it's been, I guess, cooled off outside in the unit, and then it runs through my garage to the furnace to an exchanger, if you will, and so it makes it real quiet. I mean, it's very quiet in the house. I mean, I've been in, as opposed to a unit that's sitting in your window or any of the portable ones. But no, we're in heaven right now. But I know when you get to our age, it's time to spend some money. So that's what we decided to do. K7ITX, back to net control. K7ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Ron, KD7QKU. Did the moon have anything to do with the elk or the deer? So we know it definitely has an effect on salmon. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, KD7QKU here. Well, I was just going to say hello to Dan, RYY. So Dan lives up above where I used to live. He lives on the north side of Somerset, about halfway up the hill, I would imagine. I've talked to Dan once or twice in the past, and you kind of hear him around. Well, yeah, no, the animals will feed if it's bright moonlight. They'll feed at night, and then bed down in the morning. Otherwise, they feed, they get up at the crack of dawn. Well, they're nocturnal, so they probably see pretty good at night anyway. But yeah, it has some effect. I never paid much attention to it. You just they set the seasons, and you have to go hunt during the seasons. It doesn't matter what phase of the moon or whether there's snow on the ground or whether it's hot. Sometimes, man, they would open the seasons a little bit early, and it'd be just too hot. I mean, if you actually shot something, the meat would spoil probably before you could get it to town and get it in the refrigeration. So, yeah, that was always a bad thing. So, let's see. I think just about, very many weather stations have the moon phase on them. I don't know exactly why they do that, but they do. It's just, I guess, just a neat thing to have on there, so they put it on. I don't have anything nearly as nice as Richard. I have a couple little ones that are sort of black and white, but they just record temperature, and I have one here. I'm down to 72 now outside, so the temperature, like I say, drops down really nice here in the evening. I think it's because I'm closer to the water over here in Tacoma. So, yeah, no, I have a wall-mounted air conditioner, a pretty good size unit. It's an old Sears. Someone put it in this house before we bought it, and it does a pretty good job. Matter of fact, as soon as I turn it back to net, I'm going to run out, turn it on. I like to cool the house down before we go to bed. I don't usually leave it on all night. I did leave it on all night when we first got over here last year when it was, over 100 degrees. I did leave it. I let it run all night. So back to net, KD7QKU.
Thank you very much. I see we're rapidly getting to the top of the hour. Bob, take it away, K9PQ.
Switching over my video as we speak. And I was, you caught me off guard. I was Googling who built the moon. I saw your comment in the chat. And it sounds interesting. But I have a few comments myself. So, Richard, I believe on your machine there, the comfort happy face is based on relative humidity only and not adjustable. But please let me know if yours is different. I've seen that on a lot of gauges like that. My own has a similar one. And anything that gives you a reading of the relative humidity indoors, many of them have that. So it'll be dry, comfortable, or humid, I think, are the three you normally see. I looked up the Zenith experimental aircraft as well. They look interesting. They look like normal airplanes. I don't know what I was expecting. But I guess they're kit-built. Maybe that's why they call them experimental. I'm not sure. Curious, Jim, if you got more to say about that. But there are a lot of different kinds, but they all look like kind of your typical two-seater, four-seater small planes. I don't know if I even saw any four-seater. They might have all been two-seaters. Welcome, Dan. Glad to have you with us, and I'll be interested to hear what more you figure out on your SDR play there. And as far as Richard, as far as spending money, you remind me of a bumper sticker seen on a very expensive RV. We're spending our children's inheritance. So there you go. Back to that K9 PQ.
Thank you. Let's go to Gary, K10HYB. Oh boy. Haven't seen him mold. W7ATS, yeah, I know, don't take care of that, Miss James. I know what's going on. I'm losing it if I ever had it. Anyway, yeah, I've got a heat pump out here and I have to put it in quite a while ago. In fact, it's supposed to get serviced tomorrow. So, first time in probably about 10 years. I just cleaned all the filters and all that. It was a mess. The way it goes sometimes. And, yeah, that's airplane question, that's come on earlier. I'm not that far from where I was at either. I go down that road quite often, and I know exactly where it landed and where it took the lines. There's lots of high power lines out there. I'll have to figure out some way to get my weather station on the net like James, Richard does, so. Anyhow, for the phone that's got the dongle there that's receiving the 1.2 gig antenna, or 1.2 gig signal, if you want to, I have a link to the software that I could set you up with if you're interested in decoding, using that same device to decode a black and white signal. You could probably, as close as you are, you could probably see it full. You won't see color, all you'll see is black and white. But it'd be interesting. I played around with that quite a bit. So, if you're interested, stay around after the net out, and I'll chat with you about it. Getting close to the top here, so I'll get out of here. I'll be clear on this. Good evening all, and we'll see you later. K7HYB. Gary, thank you very much. Jim, man, 7QO in Covington. Take the mic. 7QO, thank you, Jim. Well, Dan, yes, 1253.25 is the frequency. Can't really explain what you're looking at there, but discount doesn't exactly have a lot of oomph there. You can see our pictures frequently on YouTube. If you Google WW7ATS, Western Washington 7 Amateur Television Society, and there's a link there that will put YouTube on so you can see what's going on. Good luck with that. I know Gary has some ideas that can help out. Let's see. Bob, yeah, there are a lot of experimental airplanes out there. They're in the experimental category if you build them yourself. So there are some more stringent rules to follow if you do that. More restrictions, let me put it that way. You're not supposed to fly over congested areas and whatnot, but sometimes it's kind of sort of unavoidable. But lots of experimentals out there. And let's see. Phase of the moon for fishing. I never thought about that. Maybe that's why I never caught many fish. But then I don't know about salmon. I kind of stopped fishing when I moved to Seattle. I just didn't, I don't know, not enough free time in my life. Mostly in Texas, I fished for largemouth bass, and they just seemed to like worms. Plastic worms is all you need, and they were hungry little devils. And I don't know, hunting at night, never hunted at night, but so if the critters are feeding during the night and then bedding down during the day. That could explain why you don't see that many critters during the day for hunting either. So I don't know, but yeah, you're right, Ron. You have to watch the. It's just the season. You can't wait for the phase of the moon. Back to you, Jim, and 7QO. N70QO out in Covington. Well, thank you very much for that. Well, let's see. I think we've just about come to the top of the hour, so let me see if KB7RYY is still there. Dan, are you still with us? I am. Thank you, James. This is Dan, KB7RYY. That's Kilo Bravo 7 Romeo Yankee Yankee. And I heard the comment about was it Kilo Delta or Kilo Bravo, and I've talked to Kilo Delta 7 Romeo Yankee Yankee, who's down in the Vancouver area. I talked to him on VHF SSB on that DXnet on Sunday morning. Barely talked to him, but he thought I had a vanity call, that I was copying his call or something. That was pretty funny. You must have a set of linked repeaters. Let me let it drop. And apparently I have to let it pick up again a little bit. Hello, Ron, QKU. Yeah, I remember you moved away. You still have a great signal over here, though. And so the SDR, not quite a dongle. It's a little box. It's an SDR Play RSTDX. And it'll do 10 megahertz at a time. But, all I see is this signal at this little, a couple hundred kilohertz signal at 253, 25. So I look at that and I scratch my head and wonder where's the uplink. So I think it was Gary, K7HYB, who said he had some info. My email's good in QRZ if you wanted to send me something. There's a lot I don't know about this, so anyway, and there's so many other things I have on my list to do before amateur radio videos. So anyway, there you go. Back to you, James. This is Kilo Bravo 7 Romeo Yankee Yankee Dan.
KD7QKU. So, Dan, we use 70 centimeters to go up. The uplink is 70 centimeters. I can't even remember what the frequency is now. But anyway, the signal goes up on, 70 centimeters. KD7QKU on 1.2.
Well, we have a website for anyone listening. You can look up on your favorite search engine, Western Washington Amateur Television Society, and we have a wonderful webpage that Bob has put up for us. It has a lot of information out there. Also, there is a company that's from the 1980s, PC Electronics, that if you type in on your favorite search engine PC Electronics, you'll get a history of amateur television. That also has a lot of good information about that there as well. Does anyone have anything else for the net tonight before we close it down?
Yeah, Ron, KD7QKU. So there's a guy in Colorado, Dan. His name is Jim Andrews. His call sign is KH6HTV. So if you look him up on the internet, it's his call sign, KH6HTV.com, and you can do /newsletter. He puts out a newsletter once a week. He sells stuff, he makes stuff. He's a very smart guy for amateur television, so he's in Boulder, Colorado. So anyway, you might try to find him on the internet. He would have lots of information for you. KD7QKU, I'm clear. Bye-bye.
Hey, Ron, this is Dan, KB7RYY. I have that. Thank you. Well, we're going a little bit over, so I'm James, WW7ATS. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of this repeater, the 147.080, for letting us use that for our audio channel. As I said, on Wednesday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We use the 103.5 PL tone. The rest of the time, the repeater is on the normal PL tone. So anyway, we we really do appreciate all the amateur radio operators who generously give us 2 hours a week to use this for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. At this point, I will say thank you all and good night. Well, I don't know how much coax you've got, but I've got a lot of coax my converter out to the near the antenna, and allow the converter to do its work at the antenna where it pick up a little more signal. So the if you're running RG11 or RG58 or something like that, your loss is about 6 dB per 100 foot, or maybe more at 12 gigs. So you'd have to have a pretty strong signal. Of course, for what I've heard, Ron said you're right near you're not that far from the repeater, so maybe this is going to make any difference to you one way or the other. Anyway, good luck. They haven't figured out how to make decode at least the ones that I have here, they haven't figured out how to make a decode a full color signal, because it won't pick up the color carrier with the bandwidth. That's a big problem. But there is a color carrier on our repeater output, and we do have a controller that we can turn on and off if we have to. I see looks like somebody's turned back on again, because I'm seeing some sync bars. So anyway, I've got a lot of experimenting with this sort of thing. I'd have to revisit a lot of it in order to bring myself up to date. But if I can help, give me a call.